Sarah Ferguson and the former prince may be divorced, but according to Andrew Lowney, they are united in their questionable grabs for money. Fergie's simpering emails asking Epstein for a loan and vowing she was on the sex offenders team exposes the depth of the royal couple's indebtedness to him.
Ferguson has had money problems for a long time. But her story is really shocking, even for a royal. She once bought a teddy bear for £515 and came home with 50 suitcases full of stuff. She ate huge fancy meals and even tried to start a Bitcoin business in the Nevada desert that failed. Sarah Ferguson used to be the Duchess of York and was married to Prince Andrew. For many years, she's been trying to get rich and become important. But behind her big smile is a long history of wanting too much, making bad choices, and losing money. Now it might have finally caught up with her. Let's look at how Sarah Ferguson's love of expensive things ruined her reputation, and why her Bitcoin scandal might be her most embarrassing mistake yet. Before the fancy jewels and photo shoots, Sarah Ferguson had a normal, simple life. She's talked about cleaning ski lodges, scrubbing toilets, and working as a waitress in a cafe. Then her fairy tale happened. In 1986, she married Prince Andrew and suddenly became a Royal Highness, the Duchess of York. But people close to the royal family say this happy ending came with some dangerous false beliefs. Like many people who marry into the royal family, Fergie thought marrying a prince meant she'd have endless money. What she didn't know was that the Yorks never had much cash, and the royal family doesn't pay for shopping trips. The first signs of trouble came quickly. Soon after her wedding, Sarah flew home from New York in first class with more than 50 bags. The fee for her extra luggage was almost £1,000, a huge amount of money back then. Inside all those bags were about £33,000 worth of stuff, including a £515 teddy bear. Even the airport workers were amazed. One person joked, "Not even Joan Collins has this much." Royal workers were horrified, and the palace wouldn't say who paid the bill. But that was just the beginning of her money problems.
They claimed to have ended the friendship. How much do you believe she was in debt to him?
I believe it's about $2 million. I mean, both Epstein and Sarah Ferguson don't deal in small amounts. But I've got two very good sources separately have said the same figure of $2 million.
She often traveled with 25 or more suitcases and spent between £800 and £4,000 just on extra baggage fees. Sometimes she packed whole trunks just for her clothes hangers. People who worked at the palace said she was extremely extravagant. One former worker said it was greed and waste that helped destroy her. Every night she wanted a whole side of beef, a whole leg of lamb, and a chicken laid out like a king's feast. She spent £860,000 a year, including £150,000 on gifts, £50,000 on flowers, and £50,000 on parties. She had personal trainers, hairdressers, and exercise teachers who waited around for hours and charged hundreds of dollars. She slept late into the afternoon. One royal expert said she had no idea how to handle money, but she always wanted more and more of it. By the early 1990s, Sarah owed a ton of money. She owed £4 million to a fancy British bank. When her marriage ended in 1996, her money problems got even worse. But even after the divorce, she didn't cut back on spending. Instead, she kept depending on Andrew for money and support long after they split up. One writer said their relationship was like this. He saved her when she was in trouble, and she defended him when he had scandals, but that couldn't last forever. When King Charles took away Andrew's titles and told them to leave their royal home, the royal safety net disappeared, and Sarah's fancy lifestyle started to fall. Just when it seemed Sarah might finally learn to be careful with money, she jumped into another bad business deal, this time with cryptocurrency. In 2019, a company called Pegasus Group Holdings announced a big plan, a £3 billion solar-powered Bitcoin mining place in the Nevada desert. They called it the Hive, And who did they hire to be TH? Our spokesperson, Sarah Ferguson. She praised the company and said she was proud to join their adventure. The deal paid her £200,000 with a promised £1.2 million bonus if it worked, but it never did. Pegasus collapsed after lawsuits and accusations of fraud. People said they used investor money for themselves and never built anything. By 2023, a court ordered the company to pay $2.5 million in damages. By 2024, new lawsuits said Pegasus took people's money with no plan to run a real business. Once again, Sarah Ferguson's name was connected to a money disaster, another example of bad judgment and questionable business deals. This wasn't her only failed business. She also sold her fancy London townhouse at a loss, dropping from £4.25 million to £3.85 million in just 3 years. Her representative said it was an investment for her daughters. But experts saw a pattern: fancy spending, bad investments, and using her royal connections for money. Critics say that even without being a duchess anymore, she's kept using the idea of being royal to attract investors and attention, and now it's backfired badly. Today, Sarah Ferguson's world of excess has finally collapsed. The woman who once demanded king-sized feasts now faces the results of a lifetime of bad money choices. She's lost her royal home, her money sources have dried up, and people are questioning her reputation again. As one royal insider said, she was a huge spender married to a cheapskate who had way less money than she thought, and she never got over that. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has been her own worst enemy. Whenever it looked like she might fix things, she'd stumble right back into chaos. Look at her string of weird business deals, diet plans, self-help books, and even teas and candles. At one point, she promoted a product that claimed to energize your soul. Another time, she sold weight loss programs while admitting she never actually followed them. Critics said it was all about making money. She'd put her name on anything that paid. One royal writer joked that Fergie would endorse a fridge magnet if someone paid her. Then came the really embarrassing scandal. Hidden cameras caught her offering a journalist access to Prince Andrew for a £500,000 fee. She was filmed saying, "That opens up everything you would ever wish for." When the story came out, the video went viral around the world. Her excuse: she said she was desperate and drunk, and she apologized, crying on Oprah Winfrey's show. But for the royal family, the damage was done. The image of a duchess selling meetings with the Queen's son for £500,000 destroyed whatever trust people had left in her. Still, Sarah seemed addicted to fame. She's admitted she loves the thrill of being famous, saying that public attention felt like oxygen to her, and she's chased it constantly. Red carpets, reality shows, and talk show confessions. Behind the cheerful smile, insiders say she has always been insecure. She was always comparing herself to Diana, who people loved even after she died. For Fergie, the press was never that kind. When she tried to become an author and write children's books and memoirs, critics said she was just using her royal connection to make money again. And while she often acts like she's misunderstood, people close to her say that's not true. Former staff described her as impulsive and spoiled. One said she could go from charming to impossible in seconds. Her love of luxury never went away. Even in years when she said she was broke, she somehow showed up at fancy parties wearing expensive designer clothes and hanging out with celebrities. Royal experts have noticed her pattern: charm rich people, make a deal, burn bridges, repeat. And when it all falls apart, she just reinvents herself. Her latest version, she's positioning herself as a modern survivor, using social media and podcasts to talk about positivity and strength. But it's hard to ignore the irony: a woman who talks about self-improvement while her finances are a mess. More recently, she's focused on being a cancer survivor, using it to get sympathy and rebuild her image. While many people admire her strength facing illness, others wonder if she's once again turning personal pain into publicity. And the big question hanging over everything is, how does she afford her lifestyle? After years of debt, unpaid loans, and failed businesses, she still lives in luxury.
I mean, did you take the money? At one stage you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit.
Some insiders say wealthy friends still help pay for her life, while others think she's preparing a tell-all book that could reveal private royal secrets for a big paycheck. If history tells us anything, Sarah Ferguson isn't done yet. Every time people write her off, she finds a way to claw back attention through scandal, self-promotion, or pure boldness. But with the loss of her royal home, her brand deals drying up, and her reputation on the line again, this comeback might finally be the one that doesn't work. Because as one former royal worker said, Sarah's greatest love has never been Andrew. It's been the lifestyle, and she'd do almost anything to keep it. Was Sarah Ferguson unlucky, or did she cause her own problems? From luxury shopping sprees and lost millions to failed crypto schemes, it's clear her downfall didn't happen overnight. It took decades. What do you think? Was this greed, desperation, or just another chapter in the endless York family drama?